At the family reunion, they told Emily and me it was going to be a costume party. So we showed up in full animal suits, head to toe, and got seated right next to the trash bins. And Daniel, to make things worse, we'd left both our wallet and cards at home. When the bill came, 17 grand and change, my sister-in-law laughed like it was the funniest thing she'd ever seen. "Your family," she barked. "You'll cover it." I leaned in and whispered, "Not a chance. Never again." The next morning, I didn't hesitate. I locked them out of every shared account, froze $9,800 in savings they thought was theirs, and canceled the lease agreement I'd been co-signing. Truth is, the moment we pulled into the driveway, something felt off. The invitation had clearly said, "Family reunion. Costume theme. Bring your best animal suit," it said. Emily had been over the moon about it for weeks. She ordered matching fox costumes, complete with ears, fluffy tails, and tiny paw gloves that made it nearly impossible to even hold your phone right. We were cracking up the whole ride there, honestly excited about reconnecting with everyone. Finally doing something fun, something lighthearted, after everything they'd put us through. But the moment we stepped out of the car, I froze. No one, and I mean no one, was in costume. My dad stood stiff in his usual navy blue suit, chatting with my mom, who was dressed in a high-end designer outfit. My sister-in-law, Madison, had on this tight red gown and was sipping white wine like she was doing a photo shoot. My brother Jacob was laughing with some cousins nearby. All heads turned toward us. The smiles we got were thin, calculated. We looked like total fools. "Daniel, you made it," my dad said, his voice oozing that syrupy, fake charm. "Wow, such commitment." His sarcasm hit like a slap. Emily gripped my hand tighter. "It's okay, Daniel," she whispered, though I could see the redness spreading across her cheeks. Then Madison walked up with this fake little laugh. "Oh my God," she said, "you actually wore the animal suits? We were just kidding. It was just, a fun idea. Not meant to be taken so seriously." She even put her hand on her chest like we were the ones who'd crossed some kind of line. And then, of course, the seating. They led us to a tiny table way out on the edge of the patio, right next to the trash bins. The stench of spoiled seafood and old wine lingered in the air, and every server passing by avoided eye contact like it was a rule. "They put us by the trash," Emily muttered, voice breaking. "Daniel, they're doing this on purpose." I clenched my jaw. I wasn't about to cause a scene. Not yet. Then dinner started. The rest of the family dined like royalty: lobster, Wagyu steak, caviar on silver spoons. Emily and I? We got sad little garden salads and water that was barely room temperature. My gut twisted, but I kept my face steady. I'd endured a lot over the years, but I still wasn't ready for what came next. A server came over with one of those small black leather folders and handed it directly to me. I opened it. My heart stopped. $17,500. Before I could process it, Madison let out this dramatic laugh. "Oh, Daniel, you'll love this. We forgot our wallets. And our cards too," she said, grinning like a cartoon villain. "But your family," she added, her tone turning ice cold. "You've got this, right?" Jacob stayed silent. So did my parents. All three just sat there, staring at me, waiting, expecting. Emily looked panicked. "Daniel? I didn't bring anything either," she whispered. And that was the moment something inside me finally cracked. I leaned in close to Madison, just enough so no one else could hear. "Never again," I told her quietly. I stood up, smiled politely, folded my napkin, and said I needed to use the restroom. But I wasn't heading to the bathroom, not even close. That's when everything clicked into place. You've got to understand, this wasn't new. Not even remotely. I'd been playing the same role for years. The reliable one. The fixer. The human ATM. When I was 23, Jacob flunked out of college after blowing through my parents' savings on poker and luxury weekends with some girl. And guess who picked up the pieces? I withdrew 15 grand from my own savings, the money Emily and I had set aside to buy our first house. My parents praised me like a hero, for maybe 2 weeks. Then it was back to pretending I didn't exist. A few years after that, My dad's real estate business hit rough waters. The golden deals from the early 2000s started sinking fast. He came to me, desperate, and I gave him a temporary loan, $42,000 straight from my investment account. They still managed to remodel the damn vacation home. My mom even cried when she asked me for the money. Said it hurt her pride just to bring it up. But they always asked anyway. Every holiday turned into a performance. I'd sit and watch Jacob unwrap $1,000 watches, hear about his luxury trips through Europe, and see him roll up in a brand new sports car for his 30th birthday. Meanwhile, I brought my own bottle of cheap wine, didn't feel right drinking too much of the family reserve. Emily warned me more times than I can count. One night, we were curled up on our old couch, the one with springs that groaned when you moved, and she looked at me and said, "Daniel, they're using you. They don't love you. They love what you give them." But I waved it off. Their family, I'd say, like an idiot. And then it got worse. The real turning point came last year. Madison, Jacob's wife, decided she wanted to start her own boutique. Design handbags and jewelry. Said it was her life's passion. My parents were over the moon. Of course, she needed startup money. And guess who got the first call? We were at one of our regular family dinners when my dad leaned over and said, "Daniel, this is a great opportunity for the family. You help her get it off the ground, and we all profit later." For the first time in my life, I said no. "I can't," I told him. "Emily and I are saving for a house. We've been working toward it for years." His whole expression changed. His voice went cold. "You've always been the responsible one," he said. "I raised you to know what sacrifice means. You think Jacob could handle this? You know he can't." Madison, sitting across from me, gave me that fake, smug little smile. "It's not like we're asking for a handout," she said. "It's just $75,000. For family." I still said no. The next day, they ghosted us. No call on my birthday. No invite to Thanksgiving. My mom even texted Emily, saying they needed space from my negativity. That's who they were. And still, I showed up to that reunion. Still wore that ridiculous fox suit. Still tried to belong. Until last night. Until Madison laughed in my face. Until Jacob sat there in silence, like he always does. Until my parents, the same people who raised me, nodded along like it was completely normal to drop a $17,500 bill on me and humiliate me and my wife in front of the whole damn family. That night, while Emily lay sleeping beside me, I just stared at the ceiling. My thoughts raced. My anger cooled into something sharper, something focused. They thought I'd keep playing the part. The good son. The quiet wallet. They forgot one key detail. I ran the books. Every financial string in the family, I held it. By the time the sun came up, the gears were already turning. They thought I was soft, that I wouldn't fight back. But they underestimated me. See, over the years, I'd been the one quietly handling things behind the scenes. My dad, arrogant as he was, never trusted Jacob with the money. And Madison? No chance. So every time they needed a favor, every emergency, they handed me legal access. My name was listed as trustee on the joint business accounts. I was co-signer on Jacob's last credit line after his gambling screw-up. And Madison's precious boutique? LLC was technically in my name. Better credit meant better interest rates. They were sloppy, entitled, and way too comfortable. That morning, I sat at my home office desk, black coffee in hand. Emily stood behind me, worry all over her face. "Daniel, are you sure you want to do this?" she whispered. I looked at her. I should have done it years ago. Step 1. Cut the cords. I logged into the banking dashboard, where I had full admin control. With a single click, I froze the boutique's operating account. Jacob's emergency stash? But the joint investment fund my dad roped me into co-signing 3 years ago? Withdrawals suspended pending internal review. Next, I called our family's financial advisor. Effective immediately, I told him, voice flat, I'm revoking all financial permissions tied to my name. Any transactions after 9 a.m. should trigger fraud alerts. There was a pause on the other end. "Daniel, Is everything okay? It's overdue, I said. Step 2. Cut the bloodline. At exactly 9:15 a.m., my attorney submitted formal paperwork to freeze the boutique's business license. Compliance issues. Authorities would be paying Madison a visit before the week was out. Her boutique, her identity, completely frozen. Jacob's outstanding $42,000 credit balance? I sold the debt to a collections agency. The calls would start any day now. Their cushion was gone. Just like that. Step 3. Burn the bridge. I logged into the leasing platform and terminated the luxury condo lease I'd personally co-signed for Jacob and Madison last year, back when they couldn't get approved themselves. They had 30 days to get out. At 10:03 a.m., my phone lit up like a Christmas tree. Madison was first. Her voice was high and frantic. Daniel, what the hell did you do? My boutique account's locked. That's right, I said calmly. Pending financial investigation. You can't do this. I already did. Then Jacob called. I didn't answer. Then came my father. His voice was tight with rage. Daniel, what the hell are you doing? What you never thought I'd do, I said, voice ice cold. I'm done being your personal piggy bank. You ungrateful little, he hissed. After everything we've done for you. You mean everything I've done for you? I cut in. 17 years, Dad. 17 years of cleaning up Jacob's messes, funding Madison's dreams, and propping up your fantasy of being some successful patriarch. Not once did I hear a thank you. Just more hands out. You think you're better than us now? He snapped. No. I've always been better. I just finally stopped pretending I wasn't. He tried his old tricks. Guilt. Sentiment. This is family, Daniel. Family sticks together. I laughed. Bitter and tired. Family doesn't ambush you at dinner with a $17,000 bill and mock you in front of 50 people. You're destroying this family, he snarled. No. You destroyed it. I'm just walking away from the wreckage. Step 4. Full detachment. By noon, my attorney filed paperwork revoking every joint asset we shared. I was clean. No co-signing. No obligations. No risk when their financial disaster finally hit, and it would hit. By 3 p.m., they were on my doorstep. I saw them through the window, Dad, Jacob, Madison, even Mom, standing awkwardly behind them. Angry. Begging. Cornered. I opened the door but didn't step aside. Daniel, Dad started, fake smile plastered on. Let's not be rash. We can work through this. This isn't rash, I said. This is justice. Jacob stepped forward. Man, we're brothers. No, I said. You're a leech. Always have been. Madison's eyes narrowed. You'll regret this. You need us more than we need you. I actually smiled. For the first time all day. No, Madison. I needed to see you clearly. And now I do. I'm free. And I shut the door in their stunned faces. That night, Emily and I sat on our porch, watching the sky burn orange and gold. She took my hand. You finally did it, she whispered. I let out a deep breath. Years of pressure, gone. I should have done it long ago. The fallout came fast. Texts, calls, threats. Please. I blocked them all. The silence afterward felt strange. But peaceful. For the first time in my adult life, my phone wasn't buzzing with guilt trips or emergency asks. But on their side, the chaos had only begun. 1 week later, collapse. Madison's boutique was the first to fall. No credit, no support, no suppliers. The landlord posted a big for lease sign within 2 weeks. Emily and I drove past one morning. Madison stood outside, screaming at someone on the phone, a paper reading store closed, legal dispute taped to the door. Emily squeezed my hand. You okay? I nodded. Never better. 2 weeks later, eviction. Jacob called 4 times that day. I ignored everyone. Then came the text. Bro, they're kicking us out. Landlord won't budge. Please help. I didn't. The condo? Gone. The car? Repossessed. Creditors started hounding Madison's parents. Her own mother finally snapped. You should have listened to Daniel. They moved in with my parents. 2 kids, 3 adults, 1 collapsing house. The image was shattered. 3 weeks later, Dad's empire cracked. No access to our joint funds meant no cover. He'd been juggling debt across shell companies for years. I was the one who made that balancing act work. Until I didn't. One afternoon, his banker called, didn't realize I was out. "Mr. Grayson, will you be guaranteeing your father's upcoming balloon payment?" "No," I said. "Not anymore." Silence. Without me, Dad had no backup. Within 60 days, 2 of his commercial buildings slipped into pre-foreclosure. The country club stopped returning his calls. His poker buddies? Gone. Then the extended family came crawling. Cousins. Uncles. Aunts I hadn't heard from in years. "Daniel, maybe you're overreacting? You know how your dad gets? Be the bigger man." I sent one message to all of them. I was the bigger man. For 17 years. Now I'm free. And then I blocked everyone. My mother broke first. One quiet evening, her car pulled into our drive. Emily saw it, said nothing. We just watched as she stood frozen at our front door. Eventually, I opened it. Her voice cracked. "Daniel, please, your father, he's not well. He's not sleeping. He's sick from all of this." I held the doorframe like a wall between us. And where was his concern when he humiliated us? When he tossed me the bill like trash? When you all laughed while Emily and I sat in silence? Tears welled in her eyes. I was trying to keep the family together. I shook my head slowly. "No. You were trying to keep the illusion alive. And you sacrificed me for it." Her lip trembled. "You're not really going to let this go on forever, are you?" I exhaled. "I am. You made your choices. Now live with them." I closed the door. Gently. As she cried alone on the porch. Then came the final fracture. Jacob betrayed our father. Out of desperation, he flipped. Cut a deal with one of Dad's creditors. Exchanged inside info for a lighter sentence. For him and Madison. Dad's golden boy, the son he always defended, sold him out to save himself. The last I heard from my father was through a lawyer. He wanted me to testify for him in court. My lawyer answered for me. "Mr. Grayson declines. No further contact." And me? I was finally living. Emily and I bought the house we always dreamed of. No family loans. No cosigns. Every dollar ours. I launched my consulting firm, no longer chained to their mess. We traveled. We laughed again. One morning, Emily looked at me and said, "You seem lighter." I smiled. Because I am. But the most unexpected moment came 6 months later. Walking through the park, a woman stopped us. Cheryl, Madison's ex-business partner. She smiled gently. "Daniel, you did the right thing. They never deserved what you gave them. I'm glad you finally saved yourself." Before I could speak, she added, "We were all just waiting to see if you'd ever break free." And in that moment, I knew. I hadn't lost a family. I'd escaped a prison. Peace didn't come with fireworks. It came with silence. The kind I never knew when I was drowning in their endless chaos. A year later, my phone doesn't ring with masked numbers. No more texts from Dad about urgent matters. No more fake apologies from Madison. No more Jacob pretending he was my brother, only when he needed something. They're all gone. Like a virus finally purged from my system. Emily and I sit on the back deck of our home. Ours. Only ours. The sun melts into the horizon. Soft music hums. Trees whisper in the breeze. For the first time in my life, I'm not bracing for disaster. Because I don't belong to them anymore. Reflection hits in waves. How many years did I spend trying to buy love? How many times did I let them bleed me, calling it family duty? How many holidays did I watch Jacob get praise for lies, while my sacrifices were invisible? The worst part? I thought that was normal. One person bleeding while the others feast. But no more. The final nail came weeks ago. A certified letter. One last plea from my father's lawyer. A proposed settlement to resolve the family's debts. Your cooperation would aid your father's recovery. It could allow for future reconciliation. I read it once. Then laughed. Emily glanced over. Another letter? I tossed it in the fireplace. The flames devoured it, just like they devoured the last trace of guilt. I whispered, "We don't negotiate with people who only saw me as a resource." The truth is clear now. I didn't destroy my family. I didn't abandon them. They destroyed themselves. I just walked away. They taught me one brutal, final lesson. Love is not currency. Loyalty is not slavery. Family is not permission to be exploited. For 17 years, I was the obedient son, the human safety net, the walking wallet. And the moment I stopped paying, their empire collapsed like the house of cards it always was. Not because I was cruel, but because their world was built on my back. But I'm free. Free to build a life measured in love, not invoices. Free to wake without dread. Free to live as Daniel, not their savior, not their scapegoat. Just a man who finally said, "Never again."